Honey, it's the 90's, remember?
Wait, what a Schwarzenegger film.
When people talk about the greatest decade for action movies, the 80s usually comes to mind. After all, the era gave us Rambo, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, and so many more legendary films. But the 90s was just as good. This decade took action cinema to new heights, blending over-the-top spectacle with unforgettable characters. It was also the last golden era of R-rated, no-holds-barred action flicks before Hollywood shifted toward PG-13 blockbusters. So, what were the best action movies of the 90s? That's a tough call, but we've narrowed it down to 15 absolute must-watch classics that helped define the genre. Number 15. Man in Black. An NYC cop is hired by an agent of a secret government agency that monitors extraterrestrial life on Earth. Together, they must recover an item that has been stolen by an intergalactic villain. The acting in this movie is beyond incredible, especially from Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Agents J and K are an awesome duo with great chemistry. The idea of secret agents who investigate alien creatures is very awesome and compelling.
Knew it. This is an alien, and you guys are from some government agency trying to keep it under wraps.
No.
Number 14. Con Air. Starring Nicolas Cage as a former Army Ranger who was sentenced to prison for murdering a man who attempted to rape his pregnant wife. 8 years later, he is paroled and is ready to be flying home to his family on a prisoner transport plane. But the notorious criminal hijacked the plane in an escape attempt, while the Ranger plans to stop the hijacking and save the hostages on board.
Thank you, and have a pleasant flight.
Number 13. Blade. Starring Wesley Snipes, a half-vampire, half-human who becomes the protector of the human race, while slaying evil vampires. When I first watched Blade, it became one of my favorites, as well as the Blade 2 that came after. But everyone tends to forget that Blade was one of the first movies that put the MCU back on the map. Without Blade, the rest would not have ever happened. Number 12. Die Hard with a Vengeance. A detective named John McClane who gets fired for his job for reckless behavior and bad attitude. He is called back into action when a cryptic terrorist takes New York City hostage in a lethal game of Simon Says and refuses to speak with anyone but John. Teaming up with a street-savvy electrician named Zeus, McClane dashes through the city trying to stay one step ahead of a murderous plot. The best Die Hard sequel and doesn't get the praise as it deserves. This movie is great. Number 11, Demolition Man. When this came out in the fall of 1993, it wasn't considered all that special. In fact, it apparently lost money at the box office. But within a few years, the Sylvester Stallone-Wesley Snipes mashup became a major cult classic, and now it's regarded as one of the most beloved films of the era. Stallone stars is a cryogenically frozen cop who wakes up in an insane utopia that seems more relevant every year. The script, which was overhauled by Heather scribe Daniel Waters, has teeth that also gave Sandra Bullock her first major role in a Hollywood film, paving the way for her to become one of the biggest stars of her era. I feel like we're not far away from the movie's verbal morality statute, but let's skip 3 seashells, okay?
Oh, he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Number 10. Face Off. An action movie with a brilliant, intelligent concept. A criminal plants a time bomb which can ruin LA. But when he is caught in an unconscious state, an FBI agent, as a plan, gets the criminal face via plastic surgery to find the bomb, but the criminal wakes up prematurely and vows revenge. The movie is like the villain is the villain, but he is the protagonist, and the protagonist is the protagonist, but the main antagonist.
I don't care if I live.
You're not having any fun, are you, Sean? Try terrorism for hire. We'll blow some stuff up. It's more fun.
Number 9. Point Break. Catherine Bigelow brought a female perspective to this ultra-male bromance, which starred Keanu Reeves as an FBI agent, trying to nail a team of serving bank robbers who turned out to be led by Patrick, the Zen surfer guru who we become tight friends with. The film is a legit masterpiece that holds up brilliantly years later. Just ignore the remake that should have been called Point Fake. Number 8. The Matrix. A computer programmer and hacker has always questioned the reality of the world around him. His suspicions are confirmed when Morpheus, a rebel leader, contacts him and reveals the truth to him. While this may seem, Matrix is little low on the list. The reason I don't consider it up there with a lot of the big 90s action movies, because it really feels more like a product of the 2000s. Because it was so influential in the movies of that era. In fact, its legacy dominated the genre for years. This was a huge comeback for Keanu Reeves, who had a lot of flops after Speed, and it made the Wowski iconic and had some of the greatest VFX in action ever put to screen, an American film, effortlessly mashing Hong Kong action with American tentpole movie making.
Seems that you've been living two lives.
Number 7, True Lies. A secret spy, but thought by his family to be a dull salesman, is tracking down nuclear missiles in the possession of terrorists. His mission is complicated when he realizes his neglected wife is contemplating an affair with a used car salesman who claims he's a spy. The secret agent must save the world and patch up his marriage at the same time. This was Arnold Schwarzenegger's last big mega hit and his last teaming to date with James Cameron. This domestic comedy mashup with tentpole action is a little on PC these days, but the action sequences are masterful and Schwarzenegger has never been so loose or comfortable playing a part. Jamie Lee Curtis is excellent as his wife, and the two should have been able to parlay this into a franchise, but alas, Cameron was just too busy to take the notion of a True Lies Part 2 seriously. Number 6, Speed. A Los Angeles police officer angers a retired bomb squad member by foiling his attempt at taking hostages. In revenge, he arms a bus with a bomb that will explode if it drops below 50 miles per hour. With the help of the passenger, the officer tries to save the people on the bus before the bomb goes off, while also trying to figure out how the retired bomb squad member is monitoring them. No one thought this movie would amount to much in 1994. People laughed at Keanu Reeves for starring in a die-hard knockoff, with many saying it seemed like he was taking on a role meant for a guy like Steven Seagal, and in fact the movie was actually written for The Perfect Weapon star Jeff Speakman. But the opening weekend changed everybody's minds. Reeves, along with his co-star Sandra Bullock, emerged from this as a major star. Number 5, The Rock. A FBI chemical warfare expert is sent on an urgent mission with a former British spy to stop a criminal from launching chemical weapons on Alcatraz Island into San Francisco. For us James Bond fans, this movie is extra special as it's Sean Connery's swan song to the spy genre, with him playing a very Bond-like hero. It's really cool to see the 60s legend plopped into a modern techno thriller, and Connery rises to the occasion. It's Michael Bay's best film, with a strong musical score and Ed Harris as a sympathetic bad guy, along with the birth of another action icon, Nicolas Cage, whom Connery symbolically passes the torch to as the movie goes on.
Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Carla was the prom queen.
Really?
Number 4, The Fugitive. A doctor wrongly convicted of murder escapes from custody, but as he tries to find the real killer, an unrelenting U.S. Marshal is hot on his trail. This movie is the perfect example of where a thriller does not require an overly complicated plot to be brilliant. Add in some of the best performances seen from Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. Building suspense and excitement isn't as simple as throwing some explosions on a screen with an established action star. Basically, if you're looking for a taut, action-packed chase movie with great performances, amazing set pieces, satisfying character development, and an awesome ending, this is definitely the movie to watch. There isn't any other action movie like it, and you won't be disappointed.
I'm not trying to solve a puzzle here.
Well, I am trying to solve a puzzle, and I just found a big piece.
Number 3, Total Recall. A man tries to find the reason behind his recurring dream about Mars, but he soon learns that a false memory has been planted into his brain, and the people responsible for this want him dead. Paul Verhoeven directed an epic masterpiece of an action movie. It's so layered that you can really watch it over and over. It has it all: pulse-pounding action, Schwarzenegger at his best, a kick-assist heroine, Michael Ironside getting his arms ripped off, a Jerry Goldsmith score, and an impossibly sexy Sharon Stone in bad girl mode.
You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here.
Look who's talking.
Number 2, Heat. A professional thief hopes to pull off one last big heist before he retires. However, he is under the constant surveillance of a police detective who tries to take down his plan. It is without doubt one of the finest crime dramas ever put to film. This movie puts two of the cinema's greatest actors, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, against each other. It's hardly an average cop and robber tale because the film not only focuses on the action, which was a fair amount in the film, but also the lives of ones affected by these men. The movie gets in deep with the characters and their personal struggles, which is captured brilliantly. All the characters are complex and interesting, adding different dimension to the fantastic storyline. Number 1, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. The greatest sequel ever made, even been 32 years later. For a film that was extremely expensive to make, being the first $100 million film, along with it being made with a very short time window, this movie elevated the genre within an emotional roller coaster. The basic plot is that a Terminator, identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor in The Terminator, 1984, is sent back in time to protect her son from a much more dangerous and deadly killing machine known as the T-1000. They also find out about the looming threat of Judgment Day and the takeover by the machines. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger at his very best, with Linda Hamilton also emerging as one of the coolest action movie heroines of all time.
Trust me.
That wraps up our list of the best action movies of the 90s. Which one is your favorite? Did we miss any classics? Let me know in the comments, and if you love movies as much as we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a recommendation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.